Hey, what's up guys, it's Nick2. Today I'm going to be showing you guys what I believe to be the best build in the new update, TU4. There's a lot of change, or not a lot of changes, but there are a few changes that impact builds and how you want to set things up, so I figured that it would be worth it to make an updated build video and let you guys know what I think the best AR build is at the moment. Currently, my build is far from perfect, pretty much like always, and I of course will let you guys know what the ideal setup would be within the video, but how I have it set up right now is pretty strong. As I'm sure you can see, the damage output is pretty crazy and the survivability is great as well. You can also definitely use this build in the raid and it's super great for that. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy. I'm going to leave some gameplay at the end of the video, but I'll also be using this as my daily build over on Twitch at twitch.tv/Nick2. I'd really appreciate it if you guys would follow me over there. I'm trying to get to 10k followers just as an arbitrary milestone for whatever reason, but I'd really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for that. On a side note, if anybody needs help farming, setting up a build, or anything along those lines, feel free to email me at nick2biz@gmail.com. I would be more than happy to help you out with that. But without further ado, let's get right into the build, guys. Alright, so starting off like always, looking at the specialist. As I'm sure many of you guys know, weapon damage types you can pretty much get in every single weapon category now. So you can get AR damage specifically in pretty much any specialization that you would want to. And another change is that the headshot damage that you get from sharpshooter only applies to rifles and marksman rifles, and from sharpshooter you also aren't getting the reload speed anymore, which means that you have a lot of freedom in determining what specialization you actually want to run, because all that really matters is getting the AR damage and then whatever niche little additional bonus comes from whatever specialization. So you can pretty much run whatever you want. There isn't that big of a difference or anything that any of these have that is super valuable. So if you like using grenade launcher, feel free to play demolitionist or whatever. Each of them has something that's pretty nice. Personally, I like to use sharpshooter at the moment because I like the increased stability, especially when using like pretty much any AR. It just feels really nice, makes the gun incredibly stable, and a little bit of additional accuracy as well. And they also buff the TAC 50, so the sniper itself actually does a pretty good amount of damage as well. Other than that, I think gunner is pretty good because you can get like the every couple reloads is like super fast. The only problem with that is that since I'm going to be running berserk, having this is kind of counterintuitive to berserk because I'd be getting extra armor, but I think you would only just spec into this once and then it wouldn't really be that big of a deal because it's only 5% armor. But that's something to keep in mind. You also get the rate of fire 5% every time you kill somebody, but there's also stuff that in demolition that's nice, like a crisis response wherever it is. I can't find it. Crisis response is good. Here it is. And then in survivalist, I don't know, the heal seeker mine or whatever, there's stuff that's good in each of these. You can kind of pick whatever you want. Personally though, right now I'm running sharpshooter for the stability. So getting into the build itself, there's a ton of different ways that you can set this up, of course, and mine is also far from perfect, of course, pretty much like I say in every build video. Another thing I want to preface this with, you don't at all need an eagle bearer. I of course just use an eagle bearer because it's the best AR, but your damage output will still be very good just using a normal high-end P416 or normal high-end assault rifle. Up to you, whatever you want to use there. Like I said, I just use Eagle Bear just because it's better. So getting into the actual build itself, I'll just go over the basics of it and then I'll go into every individual pieces and give you guys some different ways of setting it up. The core of the build is pretty much just stacking as many red attributes as you possibly can, especially with the changes to mod slots now. You can pretty much just stack red mods because protocol slots, or slots that used to be protocol slots, are now just offensive slots, meaning that you can put system mods in them, which give more percentage weapon damage than protocol slots otherwise would have, meaning that you get more value out of just stacking reds pretty much everywhere. And then also that contributes towards going for berserk, which means that we're also getting a little bit of health so that not only we have survivability, we also gain more value out of berserk so that we can play at low HP while actually having a bit of survivability there as well, so that we get more, damage bonus from berserk. That's the main of the build, is pretty much just stacking weapon damage, headshot damage, a little bit of crit here and there, stacking health, and then just damage release and other stuff like that. Pretty much just stacking damage and then a little bit of HP to gain the benefit from berserk. That is the main gist of the build. I'll go into couple different combinations as you can do in terms of brand sets, but the main thing is just getting a decent enough HP pool and stacking as much weapon damage as possible. So getting into the weapons, like always, like I said, I'm using an Eagle Bear, but if I were to not have an Eagle Bear, I would be using probably a normal P416, pretty similar to this one, but instead of having Optimus, I would just have Strained. The reason you want to go for strained is because you do have a little bit of crit with this build. So, and since you're playing at low HP, or you're at least attempting to, you know, getting that extra damage is pretty nice. But if you don't like playing with strained, you could also play with ranger. That is a great option as well. Of course, you want to go for Allegro, and then, you know, third talent doesn't really matter that much. Depends upon the scope depends upon whether or not you want to use Chatterbox or Nemesis as your holstered weapon, which would what I'd be using if I wasn't using an Eagle Bearer. So either the 8 or 5% damage to elites is going to be great there, and then you want a plus 20 round large mag. I actually don't have it yet on the 5.56 because I am very unlucky, but 10 round is fine as well. And for the underbarrel, you probably just want crit chance, and then for the muzzle, you want damage to elites. Ideally, you want to use a P416. The AK is pretty good as well. MK16 is decent too. Up to you there. And then for the secondary weapon, I just have a Model 700 just in case I run out of ammo with my AR, but I pretty much never swap to it. If you have an Eagle Bearer, you can pretty much put anything there. It doesn't really matter. Just use it for the holster talent, or just have it as something to swap to for fun to use. I would recommend getting a holster talent of in rhythm. It's pretty nice. Just getting your skills back and getting them off cooldown is pretty cool. That's just an honorable mention there. So real quick, let's talk about brand sets, and then I'll show every individual piece. So right now I have 2 Gila, 2 Araldi, 1 Wyvern, 1 Fenris. I don't really want the 2 Gila, but I kind of just have that because these 2 pieces are really good. Reason being, this is just damage to elites and health, which is pretty much how you want it, but I have a mod set here for utility. I could just instead go for this R&K holster, or you know, mask, and then get the hazard protection, but I just like having the utility mod. There really isn't anything else that I could do here right now because I don't have like a good, you know, Murakami or something else that I would be gaining the benefit from that brand set. So right now, me having Gila is fine. Same thing with the backpack, just because I couldn't find a better one. For my gloves and holster, just went for Araldi for the headshot damage. Headshot damage is increasingly more valuable at the moment because of the fact that you're getting so much weapon damage that for every extra percentage of weapon damage that you're getting, the lower that you're getting in return out of that weapon damage is just, you know, diminishing returns. So the more that you get, the less that you're actually getting out of it, which means that headshot damage becomes inadvertently more powerful than just stacking more and more weapon damage on top of each other, which means that getting headshot damage anywhere that you can is nice, which is why I went for 2 Araldi there. And then I just have Wyvern for the crit damage, and then Fenris, of course, for the AR damage and the double talents. Other pieces that you could go for Murakami for the 8% health. You could go for 2 Providence for the 8% health. You could go for, instead of a backpack, or instead of the backpack that I have right now, you'd probably want a 511 backpack, kind of like this one, but instead of capacitive, you would want it to have hard hitting, so that you're having, you know, 2 talents, and then you have the same rolls. But I wasn't able to do that just because of the way that I have mine set up right now. But you could also go for a Araldi backpack, you know, Wyvern backpack, and like get 3 Wyvern and get a crit chance. There's a lot of different combinations. I just wanted to mention all of the brand set that you could use that would benefit this build. Sorry if it's a little bit jumbled there, but that's the best way that I think that I could have explained that. Getting into individual rolls here and what you want to get on every single piece. On the mask, you want health and damage to elites and hard hitting. And then if you have a mod size, throw in a chem launcher one, which is fine. For the chest piece, I have headshot damage, weapon damage, crit chance, berserk, hard hitting, and a defensive mod slot. Instead of the mod slot, I'd rather have an offensive mod slot. You could also, instead of going for hard hitting, go for vital so that you have more survivability. And you could also, instead of going for crit chance, go for just, you know, a big health roll, kind of like how this one is rolled. Pretty much up to you how you want to set that up. As long as you're reaching around 150k HP, it doesn't really matter where you're getting your health from. As long as you're getting at minimum 150 to 200k HP, depending upon how much HP you think you need to feel comfortable. As long as you're getting around that medium, you're pretty good there. I'd say the main thing on the chest is just getting good weapon damage and good headshot damage. Crit is nice for extra damage, and then, you know, instead of the defensive mod slot, I'd rather just have an offensive for extra weapon damage. And then berserk is a must, of course, and then hard hitting is nice, but could also go for vital instead if you wanted to. Pretty much the same thing here with the holster. I went for health just so that I could reach, you know, what I felt comfortable playing with. You could also go for crit chance here if you're getting health from other sources. Went for precise, could go for devastating, but like I said, I think getting headshot damage now is more important than ever. And then of course just a system mod slot with weapon damage and AR damage. You want to try to get some mods that have damage to armor, as damage to armor is multiplicative on top of everything else, meaning that it stacks very, very well, because 2% damage to armor is just flat out 2% damage, whereas other things aren't really calculated like that, which means that damage to armor is very strong. For the backpack, I just have health, weapon damage, crit chance, vital, and then an offensive mod slot. The main thing here for the backpack is you want to try to get a backpack that has a decent health roll, a decent weapon damage roll, maybe crit chance if you can get it, and then you 100% want vital, otherwise you probably won't be able to get that much health, and then you want to get an offensive system mod slot. Probably the best backpack that you could get would either be a Wyvern backpack with both hard hitting and vital, and then an offensive mod slot, and then health, weapon damage, and maybe crit chance if you're super lucky. You could also do the same thing on a 511 backpack, kind of like how this one was if this was perfect. If this was an offensive mod slot here, and if this was hard hitting, then I could just roll this to weapon damage and this would be perfect. My health would be a little bit lower, but it would be worth it to get hard hitting. But just keep that in mind. You could also go for an Araldi backpack and just get like weapon damage, health, vital, and then the offensive mod slot if you would rather run that. Another honorable mention for gloves. Gloves, you pretty much just want to get AR damage, right? But you could also run Alps gloves, which allow you to get passive talent, AR damage, and you could throw in an extra mod slot there for just more weapon damage. Alps gloves are super good. Problem being is that if I were to do that, I would lose my 10% headshot damage, and I didn't think that it was worth it to do so. But if you have an Araldi backpack instead, so you're still getting 2 Araldi, you could easily run the Alps gloves there, and that would actually be very good. But for me, I just don't have a better backpack than this, so that's what I'm rolling. And then for the knee pads, I have Wyvern. There's not really many knee pad options. I think for most people, you're going to end up running Wyvern, just for some crit damage, because I do have a little bit of crit chance with this build, which is also what I'm doing on the knee pads here. You could also vouch for HP on the knee pads as well, maybe something like this. If I were to swap to this, I'd basically have 200k health. The only problem with Murakami knee pads is that I'm losing the offensive mod slot, and I just value having that damage too much. If you ran Providence, you could still get the offensive mod slot, but still get the health here. So all you'd be losing is a crit chance, which is a little bit of damage, especially if you're running strained. But if you feel like getting the survivability is worth it, then hey, feel free. For the talent, you definitely want to be going for hard hitting there. So that's pretty much it for the build. In terms of the actual skills that you want to be running, probably just Chem Launcher just for a heal when you need it, and then I run Defender Drone so that when I'm at low HP, I can play very aggressively. I pretty much just get low HP so that I have Berserk up, pop this, and then I don't take damage for a decent bit of time, and then I can just run around and be almost invincible for a little bit. It's really nice. There isn't really any other skills that I think are worth using. Maybe Reviver Hive instead of Chem Launcher, or instead of the drone. Up to you. If I could, I would mod it with a battery, but I don't actually have one, unfortunately. I'd mod it with a battery and then try to just put some duration mods in here, but I don't. And then I pretty much just do the same thing for my Chem Launcher. I just threw in a battery so that I have a 27% heal, which is pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Looking at the stats here, I have my base weapon damage is 28k on my Eagle Bear. That would be way higher if I was running double devastating and I had more weapon damage, but like I said, I went for headshot damage. So I have 112% headshot damage, almost 30% crit chance, and 50% crit damage. And then I have 21% all weapon damage, 45% AR damage, and another key thing is 4% armor damage and 75% damage to elites, which this stacks up very nicely. My health is 154k. This is on the lower end, but I'm perfectly happy with running this amount of HP. If you want to run more, you're definitely welcome to, but the overall survivability of this, that's over 320k HP combined, so I think it's more than tanky enough, and the damage output is absolutely insane. So yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, please make sure to drop a like and subscribe for videos similar to this one. I'm gonna leave some gameplay here, and yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you later. Peace. I have to mute the game or the music so that I don't get copyright strike, because I want to use this gameplay in the YouTube video. Oh my god. Instantly bullied. The vid on if they fix a bullet issue, I don't think that warrants a whole video. And that's a whole can of worms I don't want to get involved in. Kelso ass versus Manny Ortega ass compilation video. Yeah, I'll do an ass compilation, and it's just me every time I get up out of my chair. Everyone that would watch it would immediately have a boner. I'd get taken off of YouTube for sexually explicit content, suggestive content. Peek it, Mongoose. Thanks for following, man. Appreciate that. Alright, Spotify covered up the name. Let me move that. You have to complete quests to upgrade the tree, or are you able to toggle the invasion missions? To upgrade the tree? The gunner tree? Is that what you're talking about? You just get specialization points. The raids reset today? No, it resets on Thursday. Not wrong. You're never wrong, dude. Am I ever gonna get good gear? Probably not. Just following a deer. I thought I had defender drone. Feels bad. Those gloves 11% pistol damage? Yeah, I already have a pair of 12. Just got rid of it. They were active talent, so I was like, fuck it. Fuck it, dude. Yeah, what's going on? Brought a shield to a gunfight. That's not how that works. Just have to be a body shot gamer from Narnia because they're all the way up there. Don't think they'll reset. The raids will stay there, won't they? What do you mean? I'm not sure what you're trying to say. What's up, Gub? The build I'm using right. You can craft it. Craft what? Oh, the Nemesis? I mean, yeah, that's how you make it. Just watch some videos online, man. Exclamation mark Nemesis. I have a video on it. Shows you how to get it and everything. My cat's snoring it up. What are these NPCs doing? Dude, it's like taking me into a fucking control point. Ah, I see. Yeah. Accuracy when side strafing. The bands. Ah! Dude, there's an NPC from across the map shooting me. What is that? Get away. How the hell do I shock Roach? There's some ammo boxes in the mission. Like it's a white box, and it will give you special ammo, namely shock ammo, and you just shoot him with it. As far as I know, that's the only way you can do that. But it's within the mission. Pretty sure it has a 100% spawn rate. that fucking rotation was not sequential before, so it was a lot longer. Yeah, it was random, but they made... Ah! What the fuck is that? Dude, this is not fun getting shot from the control point over there. Get up, Corporal Soto. This guy's got a Seeker Mine build. I don't have any ammo. Look, a once in a lifetime play to pull out the TAC 50. Never seen it. Never been done before. If thanks to follow. Mayhem, appreciate it. My grandpa has like FiOS, and for whatever reason, he just gets really shitty connection to Verizon wherever he's at. So when I would ever visit his house, he always has like 200 kilobit per second internet speed, and it's always been like that, and it's super fucking bad. Literally, like, can't even watch Netflix on his Wi-Fi, and it's still like that. It's like, dude, it's 2019. I don't even know how the internet provider is giving you that shitty of internet, because obviously, like, the bare minimum is more than fucking 200 kilobit. So I don't know what they're doing, just scamming over there. We called them about it, and they were just like, yeah, we don't really get good reception over there. So it's like, isn't that just like borderline illegal though? Because you're just giving shitty internet speeds. You're paying for more than that, like, question mark. So I don't know. But I know the pain of shitty internet all too well. I might die to tenacity, don't we? Don't kill me, don't kill me. You're chilling. And the rest of your squad on similar PvE builds? Yeah, pretty similar. Just AR Berserk builds for the most part. Devs promise all sorts of shit, but I mean, just look at Anthem, their word means nothing. Yeah, I wouldn't fixate too much on that. Lots of false promises, just how it is.